Hello everyone. Welcome to the final show of the year. This is TROP-CAST episode 47. My name is Rona Fox. I'm with the usual crew, Mr. 2-0 for Game and John Fogarty. How are you doing, John?
I'm not too bad. Had the stream on there and it was blaring into my ears because I forgot to mute it, but I'm not too bad. How's everybody doing?
I'm good, man. I'm looking forward to the Christmas, to be honest with you. I have all my shopping done, so I'm happy. I'm stress free now, so it's all good.
I got all my shopping done.
Have you been a good boy, Ronan?
I have been a good boy. There's plenty coming. Paddy Toner, what's happening, Paddy?
Well, I'm getting cold, so it's not good.
Is that in Fortnite, is it?
Yeah, that's in Fortnite. Cold in Fortnite, cold in life. At least I won't be cold this year. Do you know what I mean? That's the main thing. Don't be cold after Christmas. That's what you need there. You need the fire going. There's no turf this year, unfortunately. It's too wet.
So, like we're talking about Christmas here. You obviously don't have the Christmas shopping done.
No, don't. No, shh. The woman's watching that.
So, the reason why, lads, last year I had to work the whole way up to Christmas Eve, and my wife had to work on Christmas Eve, and I had to go and do all the shopping. And I said, never ever again am I going in to shop on Christmas Eve. It was just carnage.
Yeah.
So at the start of this month, I started picking up a few bits and pieces, and yeah, I'm one of those organised Christmas people now, which is weird.
For once.
So
yeah.
I have one more day left in work, which is tomorrow, and then I'm off until January the 6th. So I have 2 weeks off. So nice. I cannot wait. So we're
lots of gaming will be done.
Lots and lots of gaming. So what are you guys going to be up to over the Christmas?
Well, just spending time with family and maybe a bit of gaming and chilling out and having a bit of time off. I think it's well deserved all around for everyone this year. just to recharge the batteries and get going again.
John?
Spending with the family, eating a lot of food, a lot of turkey, a lot of selection boxes, and I have a project to do, but other than that, probably just gaming and spend time with the family.
So before we talk about the what we're playing section, I want to talk about games that you are going to be playing over this holiday, because I know we all have backlogs and we all have games that we're going to be playing. What game are you going to be playing, John, over the Christmas? Except for that one game that we've been constantly playing for the last 6 months. Is there anything else but Escape from Tarkov that you want to kind of catch up on?
100%. I will not mention the game that shall not be named, but
that's been named about 400 times.
Yes, more times than Bloodborne, which is surprising. But I'll probably be playing. Bing is one. But in fairness, we need a Tarkov counter more than the Bloodborne.
We
counter
do
these days,
at this stage.
But I'll probably be playing. I have both Jedi and Fallen Order on PC.
Really good.
And I haven't even got to touch Death Stranding yet. So both, one of the two. To be honest with you, I'll probably crack into Jedi Fallen Order first because I've been looking forward to playing it. Yeah. Same as Death Stranding, but Death Stranding is a longer game.
Yeah.
So it's nice to crack one out and then go on to the other one, or maybe just play Death Stranding in the background and spend most of my time on Jedi Fallen Order. I'll see how I do it, but there will be a lot of you know what as well.
I'm having a quite tough on that game recently, so it's kind of pushing me to try something different. I actually mentioned to Paddy that I want to jump back into Fortnite as well. I have been playing a little bit of Fortnite back and forth with my good mate Damien. And we have not got a win since the new update. Those damn Sabres are just kicking our ass. But Paddy, what are you going to be playing over the Christmas?
Yeah, probably will try a bit of Fortnite, maybe a bit of Call of Duty, maybe some PUBG, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. If something picks me, I might try and pick up some kind of one-player story game just to mellow out a little bit and try to decrease the mentality for competitive gaming, which is really taking over my life.
Would you you said that with a little tear in your eye, would you attempt Death Stranding?
No,
definitely not for you.
No. A flat no.
That's not my type of game now, to be honest. It doesn't appeal to me. Watch it, maybe it's one of them games you pick up and have a try of it, but I could see me getting into it for like an hour and saying, what am I doing here?
The only thing that I'd say, and it's the part that is scaring me away and making me interested at the same time, is there's meant to be this kind of social media aspect where you're connecting with people and leaving messages and that kind of thing. And it's meant to be, the way it's implemented is meant to be really interesting. But But that's the game. That's the game that I'm actually going to be playing over the Christmas.
Yeah.
When I get a couple of hours spare, I
It
want
kind of
to
reminds me
start
of
that game. And
like an indie titled movie, like one
yeah,
of these movies that like it doesn't appeal to everyone, but there's a certain amount of people that will hit home with, and it does. It really reminds me of that. And I'm probably the person that be into the indie movies more than any normal movies, but you can
yeah.
see where people are trying to hit home with this game. It's interesting for sure. I think I'd have more time to watch it, so maybe I'll watch you stream it or something, and to see
Okay.
how I like it. You know, kind of way.
Yeah, definitely. And the other game that I'm going to be playing is Sekiro, since it won Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Congratulations to the guys over at From Software. Absolutely
Me and
class.
John stayed up the whole night.
The guys stayed up.
Was after the podcast, wasn't it last
It
week?
was after the podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
We
Well, it was
stayed
after the Tarkov as well.
And me and John were sitting there watching. No, I don't think it's gonna win. You know, nah, I don't think it's gonna win. John's like, oh, it's gonna win. It's gonna win, and he was right. It won.
But what I said was, my heart says Sekiro,
Yeah.
but my head says Death Stranding. I thought they were going to give it to Kojima, but I was a little iffy because he got Best Director, and I thought maybe they're giving him that and they'll give someone else Game of the Year.
Yeah.
But my head was saying Death Stranding, but my heart was saying I went nuts. Freaking Paddy will
Yeah,
tell
he
you.
did.
With Sekiro, I was like, come on!
It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. He was like straight to Twitter. Nobody's up, John. I don't care.
My Game of the Year, 100%, and like commiserations to like Resi and stuff. Like I'd say the close second for me, but
Yeah.
man, freaking amazing game. I love Sekiro.
Yeah, and as an original game, like Resi, obviously I had the original to work off, and as brilliant as it was, Sekiro is it's a kind of a different animal, because you're going from like Bloodborne, arguably one of the best games ever created, into this kind of new genre and trying to change it up. The counter is on, trying to change it up, and From Software seem to be just geniuses when they come to actually changing up their game style. They bring in elevation, like you can, grapple hook to trees and stuff like that. Like that's something that I never thought would be brought into that sort of game, and the way they've done it in that game is just brilliant. They're running along the rooftops, the stealth attacks from above. I loved every bit of it. So that is a game that I'm actually going to go back and play myself over the holidays.
Yeah.
But
Are you going to start from the start, Roland?
I think I am going to start from the start.
Yeah.
It wouldn't feel right if I just jumped in, because
Yeah.
with a game like that, you really need to get your practice back and build on from the start. And a gap, like I've left it for so long, I feel like I jump in and just get my ass handed to me. So I might jump in again and start again. But we'll go on to the what we're playing section. And it's a little bit obvious at this stage. If anyone's watching us streaming, Paddy, what have you been playing lately?
I did try something different this week. I had it on the Steam library, but I downloaded it again finally. Played a bit of PUBG with Padified and Ben. It was interesting. It's the first time I've kind of given it a proper go, where I played like 4 or 5 hours out of it, and I found it difficult with the recoil and the map size, and getting from point A to point B can be difficult, but it was fun. Like it was good to see. It was kind of where you can see the bases start off for the battle royales. You can see where they took little bits of bobs, like of Apex. You can see a bit of Apex in there. You can see a bit of Fortnite in there. You know, you can see where they all got it from and where it expanded from. And it's definitely it's definitely an interesting game, but it feels like it didn't move with the times. It feels like
Definitely.
it didn't like you didn't get any down DLC, if you want to call it. They didn't make any new changes. They kind of kept it to the base of what they started with. And maybe it's a good way in, but I don't really agree that I think they should have moved with the times and made it better as they went. It looks like a Minecraft Minecrafty kind of game. Like it's very blocky or something. It's very basic and very I probably will keep going and trying it again, but I find the shooting very difficult in it.
It
because
takes a
of the
lot out of
recoil.
you each game, and the fact
Yeah.
that the maps are so big, you're running for a lot of the time. And I found that I jump in for 1, 2, possibly 3 games, and that will be
Yeah.
it. Like I'm burnt out.
It's a walking simulator. Like a lot of the time, like you're looking for a car and you're trying to get across the map, and then it's so hard to see if you don't have a good scope on the gun. It's very difficult to even get a kill, and I understand they're trying to go for the realism, and it's good to the picture they started to paint was there, and I see how other games developed off that game. So it's good. Like I should have tried that battle royale a long time ago, since I'm very much into battle royale games, and I've played nearly every one of them. That's mostly all of them. You know, there is a lot of them at this stage. And what else? What else I've been playing is Apex, or not Apex. Playing Escape from Tarkov with the boys.
What's
With the
Apex?
boys. Apex is a big game. It's a big game. Well, it was a big game. Still is, I think.
That's a pretty big, I think.
John, what have you been playing?
Tarkov. It's all I've been playing. And as we were saying earlier, I need to start playing something else just so I have something else to say. Again, something else to say here. I pretty much said it all.
This is my position for the last 2 years with Fortnite. It's like, what are you playing this week, Paddy? I don't really want to talk about it.
But I will try and diversify my portfolio a bit. But it's just been Tarkov, and I think we've pretty much said everything about Tarkov at this stage. Like I've had a up and down week. Yesterday we had a pretty bad. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, last night.
Yeah, last night we had a pretty bad night of it.
But we could talk about, like, since you started it to now, what have you learned about the game?
Sound is key. Don't run around the place like a maniac. Actually mod your guns and don't take the same basic stuff that you just get off of dead scabs.
I think that sound is awful in that game. I'll be honest.
It can be.
It was bad.
We had an incident, but you still do need it for just knowing people are at least near, or like it is still probably the most important aspect of it. But I get what you're saying, because myself and Paddy had an incident where we were in a room and it sounded like lads were directly beside us, and we found out later that they were like a room past a wall away from us, and like it was just crazy. Like we couldn't believe that they were that far away.
So you also have to consider that sometimes you jump in without the headsets, sometimes you jump in with the headsets. Different headsets have different frequencies that are amplified and not. I understand. I sometimes get it as well. I find that if somebody is in the floor over you, it can be difficult to know if they're over you. You can sometimes say, "Oh, they're down the hall," but they're actually on top of you.
But like, we were in there last night in interchange, and we were tracking. I was bringing. I was like, "John, let's go this way," and I was like trying to track them to get them while they were fighting. And it doesn't matter what room we moved into; they were not in that room. Like, we kept moving the next room, and
it sounded like they were right beside us.
They felt like they were right in the next room all the time, and maybe they're below us or something. But it just feels like the audio in that game is just not where it should be at the minute. Like, they need to really work on. I know, I understand the graphics and everything, the guns, everything has to be worked on, but the audio, I think, is key in a shooting game. I think they really need to develop it better. And probably people come in and go, "You don't know what you're talking about." Maybe I don't. But that's my experience of the game.
Sometimes it's down to the headphones that you're with. Now, I know you have an expensive pair. Are yours 7.1 surround sound, Paddy?
Yeah.
Supposedly, and I've read this somewhere, John might be able to back me up, but supposedly 7.1 surround sound are not kind of made for that game.
Okay. I'll check it out.
No.
Yeah, we'll check it out. Yeah, I'm sure.
I can't back you up on that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, it was somebody mentioned it, or I heard it in a podcast or something, that it's actually, I'm not sure what headsets are good for it. I think it's like the stereo headsets, the kind of studio quality headsets, rather than gaming. Now, I don't know how true that is, but I'll look it up anyway, and I'll try and find a link.
Yeah.
Kim might be able to help me out with that
I still think it's one of the most important aspects of it, though. Even though it has flaws sometimes, I still think it's still one of the main things you need to use. I honestly think it's more important than sight, because like you'll know if a lad's coming to. Because how many times have we been sitting there and like someone be looting and they'll go, "I hear movement to the right." Do you know what I mean? It's so important to get your ears.
It's a big deal in any shooting game. It's the same as Fortnite. Fortnite that's what they mostly developed on, was that to hear who was upstairs, hear who's downstairs, hear where they're coming from, and that was a big deal. Surround sound headset to make sure you know which way you're going, because it is a big deal in shooter games, especially competitive ones. It gives people an edge, like, especially, they're always talking about the bushes, and if someone moves through a bush, they're coming. If someone does this, don't go through the bushes, don't go in the wood, don't do this, don't do that. So it's a big part, and maybe it is the headset, but I don't know. John was having the same kind of issue yesterday as well.
Kim is saying 7.1 is terrible for Tarkov, lads.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that and have a look. Maybe it's just the fact that it's in early access. Maybe the 7.1 will get better as it goes through development. I'm loving it. I'll be honest, I hated it. I hated it this week. I got my ass handed to me. Like, the thing about that game is, you think you're doing so well, and next minute you just hit a bad run, and it could be just, you do a really good run, and at the very end you get shot, and then it just goes downhill for the next couple of games. I know Kim had a bad run there for a while, and I'm actually going through that run right now. I jumped in earlier on and had a run in interchange. I actually escaped killing 3 PMCs and a scav, which is the best run I've had, I think, all week. So hopefully that's my turn of luck. But I mean that's Tarkov. We could actually have a full podcast about Tarkov. That's the
Yeah.
truth. I love it. I love the fact that we're part of development. I love the fact that Nikita changes things on the fly. He said on a podcast that he's like at home, in his private house, and something will pop in his head, and he'll just go and change it there and then, and nobody knows that it's been changed. And I think that's pretty cool. He's like using us as testers, and I mean that's what we're doing as kind of early access users.
100%. No, it's definitely one worth checking out to anyone. I think a lot of people are going to see it in a different light this time next year. I think it's going to be more in the forefront.
I think a lot of people do say to me, "What's that game that you're playing?" Like, and you have to explain to them it's PC exclusive. You have to use a mouse and keyboard. It's hardcore as they come. Where's the interface? There's no interface. Do you know what I mean? It really is like just top class.
Everyone looks every time I say it in anybody's stream or say it to anyone. It's like, this is my first mouse and keyboard game. You're like, you are absolutely mental. I'm like, well, you might as well jump in the deep end. You know, kind of way. You might as well go for it.
You may as well. So what we'll do, lads, is we'll go on to the news section. Nice bit of news this week. Thanks to John Fogarty for setting up the
for one.
show,
Paddy
show
pretty much does it every other week.
Paddy does it every week, and
Always good to have help now.
It's nice to have the backup there as well. So we'll go through a little bit of news here. So the first piece of news is from Red Dead Redemption 2 gets a big update that adds loads of single player content and a photo mode. So does this make anyone want to jump back in? When I was reading this news earlier on, it actually made me want to go and see what these, the story element is. I know Paddy was a massive fan. Does this make you want to jump back in, Paddy?
Yeah, like if I had it downloaded, lads.
If you had the space.
If I had it downloaded there and then, I would jump back in and give it a shot. But it's such a huge game to download, and my internet's like 5 or 6 meg, and it just takes too long. But it is great to see them to keep dishing out the content. And like, if to be honest, I might jump back in some stage and replay the storyline. So it could be worth checking out.
The interesting thing for me is the fact that it came out on PC. I feel like now if I got a good deal on PC, I'd purchase it on PC, and not only do I play the game, but I have all this extra content to go through as well. I think that would really make it worthwhile. Jumping on to PC. The graphics, yes. The story as in its original form, yes. But to have these extra bits and pieces in it, I think that really makes it worth jumping back in on PC. So a couple of the modes that are being added. We have a story mode, bounty hunter mission, track down wanted criminals. Herman Zenzadorf, Camille de Milmont, and Bart Kavna. He's from Delvin. Is Bart. Story mode, gang hideouts. Take on the deadly Del Lobos gang at Gap Tooth Breach and Solomon's Folly. I mean, there's absolutely loads here. A dedicated photo mode has been added, so you can take pictures. I mean, anyone that played that game, even on PS4, it's phenomenal. Like, I took a lot of pictures when I was playing my playthrough of it, and it just is breathtaking. So to have a photo mode and to be able to actually rotate around the character or look at different bits and pieces, I think that's really good. Does this make any of you want to jump back in? John, did you play the game when it came out?
Oh yeah, it was my game of the year that year. It was fantastic. It was is one of my. It's a tough one. I love Red Dead Redemption, the original. It's hard for. I think it's definitely a better game than Red Dead Redemption, without a doubt. Like, just like as a game wise, but I still have a place in my heart for Red Dead Redemption 1, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is fantastic. And I think one of the main things which actually shocked me was that they may have actually made Arthur Morgan a more sympathetic and better written character to John Marston, which from the original, which blew me away, because John Marston was one of my favorite characters in video games. Like, not even word of like Red Dead Redemption 1 is probably one of my top 5 games of all time. And I think the only thing keeping it above Red Dead Redemption 2 is probably nostalgia, if I'm being completely real with you. But I loved it. I'd definitely jump back on, but I'd probably be the same as you, Ronan. I would probably, if I was to jump back on, I would probably get the PC version just for something a bit different.
Yeah.
If I got it for a good price.
I agree with you, as John or Arthur being a little bit different to John. I think that that was because obviously it's on PS4. The character is a lot more dynamic. The fact that it's such a long game, you see Arthur going from this, real kind of badass criminal that doesn't really care, and then the whole way through, he kind of starts seeing the wrong that he's done in the past. And as a player, you can, well, for me anyway, I kind of naturally progress to try to be good, even though the stuff that I did at the start was horrible. And even for me, what happened at the end, not to spoil anything, but I feel like he still got what he deserved, even though I tried to redeem myself. I loved it. I was really engrossed in it from start to finish. And a lot of people said it was boring, and they didn't like the fact that it was so realistic. But I mean, we're people that like realistic simulator games, and it really suited my game style. Paddy, do you want to say anything about it?
I really think the in-depth story was what kept us around for it. Like it was, I know people, as you said, people are saying it's boring, but like if you got really into the game and really into the story, like it'd keep you addicted to it until you got to the end to see what happened. The same as any good movie does or any good book does, like, as another form of media. That it was definitely worth the time invested. I know it was a big enough game, but maybe it didn't hit home with certain people because it was too long. But I think it was just perfect. And like if it was sitting there, I probably that's the same again. It's because of the PC and everything. Like, if it was on PC, I'd definitely pick it up and play it again because it's definitely worth to play through for a second time or a third time, and especially now that they've added more content. If anyone's into like story times games like RPG-esque or whatever like that, I definitely
Westerns, like even if you're somebody that doesn't like games and you want to get into gaming,
like
pick it
even
up.
they're as John was saying there, the original Red Dead Redemptions were very were very good games. They
Yeah.
were unreal. I remember playing with my little brothers and stuff like that there and playing it and going through it and having the pistol battles and it was
The online was
good.
pretty good in the
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that was fantastic.
Red Dead
yeah,
Redemption.
they were great games. It's like the online system for Red Dead Redemption is probably lacking because of the GTA is such a big presence, and it's probably hard to keep two games going
Yeah, no, that is a great point.
at the same speed because like GTA is its own. It's its own like whole brand.
Really, yeah.
It's exactly. It's completely cut itself off from the rest of the gaming community as a forefront on online gaming. Like like. And to have two in the same league is not going to be possible, even for a company as big as Rockstar.
Like, and speaking of Rockstar, wasn't it rumored that they're working on a medieval game, a new IP? Anyone hear that?
I never heard that now.
I heard that, but I think I might have heard that off one of you though. So
yeah, that's the rumor, mate, that Rockstar's new IP is going to be a medieval kind of setting and knights and horseback and stuff like that. I think that'd be cool. I'd play anything that those guys do. They put a lot of work into their games, and Red Dead Redemption 2 is really the pinnacle of it. Even though, yes, Grand Theft Auto 5 is still, it's going to outlive Red Dead Redemption 100%, but I think that's because you can do a lot more in Grand Theft Auto 5 because of the modern setting. The next piece of news, this is a big one. I mean, this is one that people are looking forward to. Ghost of Tsushima is coming out. It's going to be a PlayStation exclusive. It looks absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they released a new trailer there recently at the Game Awards. Was it the Game Awards that they released that trailer?
And
it kind of showed a little bit of gameplay. The graphics looked amazing. The lush, the foliage that they're going through on horseback. It looks really, really good. But there's a little bit of news about the open world. And PS4 exclusive Ghosts will have no open world waypoints. And I'm a big lover of that. I don't like when I see a point in the distance. And people are going to hate me for this, even The Witcher 3 had them. And I would prefer to kind of find my own way, if that makes sense, to explore the world without being led somewhere. I think Zelda Breath of the Wild did it really good as well. They allow you to actually just explore the world. So the piece of news here is Sony's upcoming PS4 exclusive Ghost of Tsushima really wants to draw players into its luscious open world. As such, the game will feature no in-game waypoints to guide you.
That's me not playing that game now. I am no good with that kind of thing. I have to have a direction. You have to send me where to go. I'm just not that good at games.
You're playing Tarkov. Give yourself a break.
No, man. I found that it brings me up. That brings me back to what's called some of the horror games that are open world. And I'd rather be in a horror game. I'd rather be stuck and rather have one way to go and have to get through the demons to get there. And when I have nowhere to go, I get all like, I don't know where to go. That's it. Goodbye, game.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going anymore.
I think that boils down to the way the game is developed as well. I don't know whether you played Breath of the Wild, but it does it in such a way. The world is so, like, the landmarks in the world are so prominent. When you look across, they ask you to go through the gap in the cliff, and you look over and there's the gap in the cliff, regardless of where you are.
Yeah, so you kind of know where it is. It just doesn't have a big arrow.
It doesn't have an arrow like pointing this way, or a map. Actually,
so
Zelda does
kind
have
of gives
a map.
You more immersion kind of thing. Like you're you're kind of in a game, but you're not. If you know what I mean.
One game that did it actually was the likes was Horizon and Far Cry. I find those waypoints are a little bit too in your face. So when I was playing Horizon, I turned off all the HUD, and it really got me immersed. But the developer says, it was a great game. We really want you to have that choice of, hey, that's a cool bamboo forest over there. I really want to check it out. Explained the game's art director, Jason Connell. I want to head in that direction and see what it is. There's no waypoint. There's nothing that says, go here and look at this bamboo forest. So,
would they still have maps? And would you have a map on your...
It's possible. It doesn't say here what the developers...
Because like Red Dead Redemption wouldn't really have waypoints either, would it?
No, it wouldn't. Red Dead Redemption 2 had... You could fast travel if you got the map at your camp, and it was still like really complicated.
Yeah.
But like
but you could look at the map. That was the only thing.
But like you had the map, but then you had this separate map that was at your camp that you could fast travel from. But you couldn't fast travel from the normal map. But I pretty much just rode everywhere. Because I love the not only the exploration and all that, but I really loved the just riding the horse in that game. I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I'm a weirdo when it comes to games like that. Like I enjoy the busy work. I enjoy going from point A to point B. Some people be like, "Oh, that took 5 minutes." I was like, "Lads, the whole landscape looks lovely." I saw rabbits. I saw 2 wolves fighting in the distance. Do you know what I mean? I don't like. Yeah. I suppose it depends on the game. If there's a game that's completely empty and flat, then maybe that game
PUBG.
was yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like,
so barren.
It's just some games are lovely to go through without these waypoints. And hopefully Ghost of Tsushima is something like that.
Yeah.
The last piece here on that is, while the developer's upcoming samurai stealth action game aims to create a world entirely without waypoints, Infamous Second Son, the company's previous project, who is Sucker Punch, was a game that was extremely dependent on that mechanic. So they're changing it up a little bit. It looks, I mean, Infamous, anyone that played that loved it. I think it was a real staple for the launch of the PS4, and to know that they're changing it up is really good. I mean, Cyberpunk is CD Projekt Red are doing it with Cyberpunk. They're going first person rather than the third person, like The Witcher. And I like when developers do that, to try and just shake it up. And it's easy to just, repeat what you've done before, but I like the way they're changing it up.
100%.
The next piece of news, we actually just mentioned it. Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, and Overcooked 2 set to join the PS Now in January. Anyone that hasn't played Horizon, what a game! Like absolutely unbelievable. We're definitely going to see a sequel to that game.
I'd say PlayStation 5 exclusive start
launch
for launch day.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
time has passed for it to make sense. Yeah, I think so.
Guerrilla are known for their launch titles, aren't they, with the Killzone series? Yeah. So hopefully we'll see Horizon Zero Dawn 2. So that's PS Now again. A great service. Anyone that has got that service, a couple of my mates purchased it and they love it. They find it really, really good.
Yeah. The better the games they put on it, the more they'll get more people in. Like they had God of War on it, didn't they? Recently.
God of War, yeah.
That's a massive game to have on it, because anyone that hasn't played that's another one. That's last year's games. Like they are brilliant.
And I don't think it's too expensive either. We can get the price.
€12 or something like that.
Links below. So guys, we have our one and only trailer for the show, and I'm going to play it here now. Hopefully it plays, and we're just going to talk over it as well. So the DualShock 4 back button attachment is out on the 14th of February, and we're showing the trailer here now. This is to kind of compare, or this kind of to go against the SCUF controller market, which, Paddy, you have the SCUF controller.
I have the SCUF with its 4 paddles. Mine has 4 paddles on the back of it.
Okay.
and it's a great, if you're into competitive shooters, it's a must. All the top pros would use them. It's more, it's a lot to do with the jumping and to give you more options. I know it sounds silly to people that are like casually into it, but like if you jump with your two thumbs, if you jump and take your fingers off the thumbsticks, you give yourself a less chance of shooting someone as quick as somebody that just uses the paddle and turns at the same time as shooting. I know it's like
Okay.
makes sense.
No, it makes sense.
it does make sense. They're trying to get into this market. I think Xbox Elite is that they have
Yeah,
paddles
the
as well.
Elite, yeah.
Yeah, they have paddles as well. I think they're trying to bring it because the scuff is known, but that's known among streamers and it's known among pro players. So like PlayStation brings something like this, it's going to see a lot more casual players are going to be seeing it, going, "Oh yeah, I've seen this," and it's a lot more cheaper option because the scuff can cost a brand new one like that. The one I have there, I got a second hand, but to get a one new, it could cost you €200, and that's not cheap. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that is the important aspect of this. Is it's actually really cheap. Is it? I just seen it there. Is it $29.99? Is that the
Something
price
like
of it?
It's a lot of people are saying that it doesn't charge with the controller, which is weird,
Yeah,
and
that is weird.
that it doesn't have a separate port to charge it while playing. So you might only get a certain amount of time playing with it. That you might have to take it off and charge it. So that's it. I'm not sure if that's true.
Is there
But
a possibility that this thing actually has a little bit of a charger on it that
it could
maybe?
be, but we're only getting to see a little bit of it now. So
Yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah.
so hopefully it does, because it needs to have that, especially for people that would be interested in buying this product, because they would be the type of people that will be playing the games for hours and hours on end, practicing and being in competitions, and and it does look cool. I'll be honest, like if the scuff stopped working and it was there and it was a cheaper option, I definitely get it. You know what I mean? To fill in the void or whatever that
Yeah.
I need.
Do you think
Um,
like the like not resurgence, but like the popularity of like scuff controllers, elite controllers, and like this new product here now that they're making a peripheral for the PlayStation controller? Do you think that might like influence what controllers will be like for future consoles and stuff? Do you think they might actually start incorporating them into controllers?
I think it's a possibility, but then again, like PlayStation is a business, and if they see that they have a chance to
Exactly.
bring accessories along with their normal controllers, like
Yeah.
what would you do if you're in that position?
That's true. Yeah.
You probably would just bring, unless they've seen it in, like Xbox was doing it, they go, yeah, we'll do it too because we have to.
Yeah.
So it'll take one of the businesses to do it, but it'd be great if they did. But it's
Yeah.
a lot of things as well as if but do they make it more complicated for the younger gamers? Do they make it less complicated? Do they keep it that it's separate just for more hardcore gamers? That kind of, it's
Yeah.
more from a business
Yeah.
output. I can see them not doing it, but from, you never know. Like, you never know what
Yeah.
they'll be up to. It's
They're
an
mad.
option.
It says here responsive back buttons and high fidelity OLED screen. The two back buttons can be mapped up to 16 different actions such as triangle, circle, R1, R2 to name a few, and provide amazing tactile feedback. So you can jump and slide without missing a beat. The attachment also features an integrated OLED display that provides real-time information around button assignments, and it also drains your battery to no, no, it doesn't say that. But it sounds like something that would drain your battery. All right.
Like
again.
it maps to, like, they're saying 16 buttons, but like it's only 2 buttons really. You can map it to 2 buttons. Do you know what I mean? You have to pick one. You have to pick 2 to which one it is, and it's the jump button or the shoot button or whatever. But I say it's a nice product, and I can see a lot of people, like, a lot of people get it for Christmas or whatever like that. When's it out?
That is not in the details here. We can.
Damn it.
Damn
but
you, John. I don't have any message.
Sorry, lads.
I can
all
see, it definitely will sell. Like, I can see a lot of people, like, especially young kids. I see they're going around with their mammy and going, "Oh, I see, like Nick Marks has these. I want this. I want this. I want this." You know, it's a
Yeah.
big selling point there. I don't know if it's going to sit well with the bigger gamers. If it does drain the battery, if it does go out quickly, they need to sort that out to make sure it's balanced. Like, to have the screen on it is a bit it's a bit over the top. They don't
Too
need
late,
the
John.
They don't need the screen. What's wrong? It's the date.
I'm sure he's looking up the release day for it.
January 23rd in US and Canada, and in February 14th for Europe. There you go.
Awesome.
There you go. January sales, February sales.
February sales.
February
There you
sales.
go.
So the next piece of news is a game that I played recently, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. We seem to be getting a sequel, guys, which I'm absolutely over the moon about. It will probably be next generation, if I'm guessing.
Yeah.
The reports here.
You never know. Like, it could be like with Star Wars and stuff. They could be jumping them out, throwing them out, get them out.
A sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order could already be in the works at Respawn Entertainment, with 3 new jobs listings on the developer's website confirming that Apex Legends Studio is creating a new game set in a universe far, far away.
That could be anything,
It could be anything. Nothing official has been announced for Respawn's next Star Wars project, but you can expect this new title to be a next-gen experience, there you go, for PS5 and Xbox Series X, given that both of the consoles release in holiday 2020.
Oh yeah, I suppose it is next year. I'm kind of putting it like, oh no, that's ages away. That's ages. Oh,
a year from now we'll probably have them. Like it's gonna be mental that year from now. We're gonna have like
I can't wait. No, I can't wait. We're all getting on that hype train. Be like, this time next year, no one's getting presents. I'm buying myself a PlayStation 5. I may get next year's presents now when I can afford them.
So just after the news of Resi 3 Nemesis remake being announced, there's also a little rumor mill flowing around the scene that Dino Crisis trademark has been filed by Capcom. Whether that means that the game is actually going to be made, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm betting, if I was a betting man, I would say the fact that these games are doing so well, I reckon we will get to see one. A lot of people want this game. I want it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, probably. Like, you don't ever know if they're actually just redoing the licenses or whatever, but hopefully they do bring it out again, because it was a big hit. It is a big hit. People love to play it. You always see people talking about the games, and the way the remakes have gone, it's inevitable. It's like when the NES came out, everyone was like, "When's the SNES out?" You know, it's definitely coming. You know, it's one of them things.
I remember playing that game. I absolutely loved it. I don't think there's enough games where you actually kill dinosaurs, if you ask me. I think there's a huge open market for that style of game. John, you were about to say something?
No, I was saying, like, as you were saying, like, it's hopefully it's not well. Like, I'd be looking forward to it. I remember Dino Crisis as well. It was a good old game. I don't think I played all of them. I don't think I was into them as much as I was Resident Evil at the time. But they were also saying that they did also like redo the patents on, what was it, Mega Man, Darkstalkers, and Breath of Fire. So people are wondering, are they just keeping them in like their own copyright, or is they actually going to remake them?
That's one of the things you're going to have to do.
I think Dino Crisis, like Mega Man, would be a good shout as well, but I think Dino Crisis is a good shout because it's been asked for by the fans for so long. And they even had a tweet, I think it was last year, I was reading up on it, that they were like, if you wish hard enough, maybe Dino Crisis will happen, or something like that. It was like a little tease. I think it's a good shout.
There's also the fact that the game engine that they have used for 7, 2 remake, and now Nemesis is there. It's built, and that's the perfect game engine to use for Dino Crisis. So I mean, the engine's there. I don't know how much. Obviously, a lot of work goes into creating a remake like this, but I mean, they're halfway there, if you ask me. And if I was a betting man, I'd say we're going to see this in the next year before even PS5. I would bet.
Might be a remake. It could be Dino Crisis 4. Who knows?
That would be cool.
Never know. Why not?
That would be cool.
Fresh perspective on
it. So guys, we are going to move on to topic of the week, and I want actually the community to jump in with this as well, because this is one that I've so many memories. But we're going to be talking about our best Christmas gaming memories and the best Christmas gaming present that we ever received. We're going to just do the two of them, and if you have in the chat, if you have a memory that you want to share with us, please just drop it in the comments and we'll read it out. We'd love to hear them. Paddy, I'm going to start with you. What is one of your best Christmas gaming memories ever?
I suppose being who we are, I probably got a console or something a lot of the time. Like, you get a PlayStation or an N64. Or
what was the console that you remember the most? Like, getting
the one I remember there was we had a tough year at home here, and I remember there wasn't much or whatever around.
Yeah.
And then my mother and father made sure they went out and got us a PlayStation 2. And that's a big deal. Like, I'll always remember that, because you didn't think
expensive console.
Expensive console. And a lot of people, that's a lot of people forget about the time, is about people, about parents. Sometimes they don't have it, but they make sure they have it for the kids, because that's what it's really about every year. And that's what it's about the kids. And they went out and they made sure they got it. And that's a great memory in my head anyway.
I'm actually gonna that it's actually because I had another memory that I remembered, but you're actually after reminding me exactly the same. The PS2, my mother actually was paying it off for, I mean, a year after we actually had it. The games that we got for it were Tekken Tag Tournament and a game
Ridge
called
Racer, was it?
what's
Ridge
that?
Racer. Ridge Racer came out.
No,
That
it was a game called Airblade. I don't know whether you remember that one.
I don't know if I remember that now.
It was like a hoverboard futuristic skateboarding game. And it was really really good. Like I'll check it out, but I'll get it for you and I'll send it to you. I'll post it up, see does anyone remember. But those were the two games I remember. I remember actually getting Tekken Tag, and the CD was scratched, and we had to bring it back in. It wasn't working.
No way.
We got it in Kilroy's in Mullingar, brought it back in. They gave us a new copy. I don't know how it got scratched because I think it was the plastic wrapper was still on it. But yeah, that was a really good memory. The console that I remember the most was definitely the PS1. And the reason why is because we had a Sega Mega Drive, and I don't know whether I told you the story before, but one morning I was in my dad's. I got up so early, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, went down to play my Sega, went to plug it in the back of the telly, and for some reason my dad didn't attach the wheels on the bottom of the TV stand, and one of the wheels buckled, and the TV was one of these massive TVs, and it dropped forward, and the TV just slid, and I was here like, no, and next minute bang onto the Sega, and the only thing that worked on the Sega was the games worked, but controller 1 would never work. So if we were playing Streets of Rage, we'd have to pick the two players. Player 1 would have to die, and then you continue on with the player 2. It was a mess. But when we got the PS1, it was glorious. I got Alien Trilogy and Hercules, and I played those games to absolute no end.
PlayStation 1 was such a console. Them games that came out on that were unreal.
Yeah.
So great. I had such great memories of all them games as well.
Yeah.
They're all brilliant.
And at the time, my mother was working in a video shop called Video Shop in Mullingar, and we could just go in, pick whatever game we wanted. The one game that I remember picking all the time was Resident Evil 2, that black case with the zombie at the front of it. And we could just pick whatever we wanted, and it was just amazing.
Is this for kids? Yes, it is.
Yeah, but that's the thing, like Alien Trilogy for a kid.
I know, yeah.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, GTA,
We
the original GTA, yeah. Same.
We had all the original GTAs over the head going around. And it wasted.
Yeah, that sound on the phone.
Unbelievable.
John, jump in there. Favorite memory?
I think probably the one that's the most like the one that is the biggest in my head at the minute is I remember, and I must have been only about 4 or 5, like thinking of the timeline, but I still remember. I think it was our first game console that I got on Christmas, and it was the Sega Mega Drive. And I still remember it's because if you like not really anymore, but like when I was like probably when I was even still probably too old, I'm saying up to like 14, 15.
Yeah,
I was like the biggest Sonic the Hedgehog fan under the sun. I used to get Sonic the comics. I used to watch all the cartoons. I used to do everything. So I was a massive Sonic fan, and that all began when I got that Mega Drive. And I remember we got Sonic 1, we got Strider, and we got Alien Storm. Did you ever play Alien Storm?
I think I have.
No, but I did play a Strider. They remade that as well, didn't they? There was a free PS Plus game, as far as I remember.
It was a very good remake as well.
It was class, yeah.
As well. But I just remember because like I was like, what's this? It's like it's a video game console, and it's like I didn't like I knew what games were, but like it was such a new and fresh concept, especially to like a 4 or 5 year old. That like when I started playing Sonic and I was jumping and I was pressing the jump, and this joke would jump, and then he'd move forward, and he just obviously I was probably crap, but like it was just so surreal. It was
everyone else, when you talk of Sonic though, you can just hear the levels in your head. You can hear hear it
bling bling bling.
My mother absolutely loves that game as well. She loves Sonic as well. The Sega. I'm telling you, she used to play the games more than me.
I'm gonna watch the movie day one.
Yeah,
I won't watch it. I used to always get the freaking Sonic the comics. I used to be Sonic's biggest bro. But that was a while ago. But no, just Sonic 1. Then I moved on to like Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, obviously.
Streets of Rage, class.
Beavis and Butthead.
That comes out again.
Do you remember the Beavis and Butthead game?
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Shinobi could
yeah.
never get by the first level, but it was still awesome.
Oh, I got fairly far in Shinobi. I got do you remember when you have to fight Spider-Man in that game?
Oh, I'd never do
Spider-Man,
that.
it's like a rip-off. Like they don't call him Spider-Man, but like there's a yoke that's just blatantly Spider-Man.
Spider
I remember
Baby.
I could never be
Spider
Baby,
Pig.
that was him. But I could
Simpsons
never get
did it.
past him. I could never get past him. That was probably like level 6 or 7. That had the freaking the nuns, and the nuns would be walking past you like this, and then they'd strip off, and they were like strippers, and they were like and then they attack you. The game was mental. The game was
Again,
absolutely
make game
mental.
made for kids.
But yeah, just loved it, and then like pretty much got nearly every console under the sun after that, and it began my obsession with video games to this very day. So yeah, that's probably my best Christmas memory of gaming.
We'll go over the community now in a second, but another one for me, definitely every Christmas, was the SmackDown versus Raw games. Like they used to be like Santi was.
I have to say, SmackDown 2 was the best SmackDown game.
Yeah, I loved them all, dude. Like I mean, I used to just always ask Santi for them, and if I got nothing else but that game, I would have been happy. Like we must have played it for 6 months of the year, just constantly. Myself and my brother, they were just unbelievable. And
then you have a wrestling match after, a proper one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Wrestling was massive in our house.
It was massive. That our generation, I think, it was unreal.
Yeah.
Like,
it was.
It was the time. Era. It was the Attitude Era, and then it was the Invasion, and that was like that was the last part I watched, and that like the Invasion was unreal. You had all the lads come from WCW, and they were coming over, and they were fighting. It was such a big deal at the time, and the games really. I remember that year that you're kind of talking about, like, you know, the PlayStation 1. Remember Tony Hawk's 2, SmackDown versus Raw,
Tony Hawk's.
Tomorrow Never Dies. Do you remember all? And what else? Pro Evo was out, and I think that was massive.
Pro Evo, ISS Pro, yeah.
That's an unbelievable generation, isn't it?
That was some list of games, and they all came out at the same time, and that was really what brought me big time into games. All these SmackDown, like I'll talk about. I'd love to play that game again. I've had it. I don't know if I still do. I might do. But the storylines of them games. Or what it was you were kind of going through the same thing where you played the storyline and you unlocked characters as you went, and you unlocked storylines. So you came down, and like the Dudley Boys came down, with the
Dudleys were unbelievable.
And and then they did Just Bring It, and they did SmackDown versus. It was great. I'm sorry, I kind of took over there, but
walk away, dude. No, that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, they were great games.
Class, like that's one of my biggest memories. Just what do you want for Christmas? It was nothing else. Like, please, Santi, just like I remember actually writing a list. It was like my ma goes, write a list, and it was just the new SmackDown game. That was it. Like I ended up getting loads of stuff, like, but that was all. And then like a big memory for me is kind of the relationship that I have with my brother. We used to just, and we still do it today. Like if my brother comes back, he's over in England now, but if he comes back, our tradition is to open our presents in the morning, to get dinner, to have a couple of drinks, have a chat, and then game in the evening. Do you know, when you're full and you just don't want to do anything, it's gaming. And my brother kind of and me were always ones that were just big into gaming, and it got us through some rough times, to be honest, in our life. And that's why I'm so appreciative of gaming. But that's kind of what I'm hoping to do this year as well. He comes home, it doesn't matter what game, like he's looking at Tarkov now, like he's into the same stuff today. He's like, I don't have a PC, I'd love to play a bit of Tarkov, so we'll probably end up doing that when he comes home.
Probably get a PC for now.
Yeah, like I'd love to actually, if I upgraded, to give him my PC and play with him. Like he'd be really good. But that's like one of the biggest memories, just being with him and experience the gaming with him.
On the topic of like Christmas and stuff, like shout out to all the mothers and fathers out there that are giving their kids and Santi or whatever, bringing the kids all the toys and trying to keep up with everybody else. I know it's hard out there for some people to see everyone getting the best of stuff, and that it's hard every year. People put through the same things, but they always make sure they have the top things for their kids, and you have to give them credit for it. It's like, I'm a parent myself, and we all like it's tough, and it gets tougher every year because they get older and their stuff gets more expensive. You got
it's more electronic.
It's more electronic. We're in that generation of things out there, and it's like a lot of people just get themselves in a lot of debt this time of year, and it's hard to hear it, but I think it's a part of the world now, and it's to give the kids all the best, and you have to give them the credit they deserve, and people work very hard all year just to give their kids what they want, and it's all 100%. About that's what Christmas is about. It's about the kids, really. You know, that's why it continues to be such a great part of our culture. It's because kids love it. you can't wait to see their faces when they open up the presents. And like
Definitely.
we're past it now. We like to get maybe socks or something, but it's brilliant to see the
That's a
kids
great
Christmas
point.
morning.
That's a great point, Paddy, because for me and for my wife and I, we like Christmas was kind of this thing. Oh, what we do, we go out for a few drinks Christmas Eve, we die all Christmas Day. But now with kids, it's so much more. It's so much more magical,
Yeah.
and you get into the spirit, and you have the elf on the shelf, even though it bloody annoys the
Yeah.
crap out of you. But you see him moving around, and you know, you have fun with that, and then the
Yeah.
Santa Claus comes and you see their faces. Like I don't think there's anything more special than, and I remember as a kid that coming down and Santa's after coming and you open it up and it's a new
Exactly. It's the
console.
magic of it.
Like you have to appreciate Christmas, and I do understand that it is hard for some people. Another shout out I want to do is one of my first year as an instructor, one of my students got me 2 cups, player 1 and player
Ooh,
2,
fancy.
and this is it here. So
Pretty
shout
cool.
out to Rachel. She got me and Chris Kringle, and like I was just blown away by that, and I really appreciated it. I kind of nearly brought a tear to my eye. We were all there today. We were exchanging gifts, and it was just an amazing feeling. So Christmas is a good
That's
time
it.
for making memories and really enjoying it. And if you
Enjoying your
are, no matter
family.
where you are in the
Yeah.
world, and if you don't, if you're kind of on your own or that, make sure you jump into the Republic of Players, and
Exactly.
we're all going to get into the festive spirit and jump on with a game
Yeah.
with us and just enjoy the community. I know there is people out there that might be isolated at home. Just get yourself on to some sort of community like us and get talking, and that will help you a great deal over everything in the world. Like really talking is key.
Yeah.
So just to go to the community, Kim says, I think it's either my first ever computer, which was a BBC. I owned the BBC, Acorn Electron. I had to program my own games. That sounds pretty cool. Or when I got a SNES. I mean, the SNES seems to be, for that
SNES is
generation,
fantastic.
it's hard to beat that one, isn't it? It was a little bit
Yeah.
past my generation, believe it or not. I
I
remember
just
playing
think
it in a mate's house, and that was kind of my experience. My first big console was the Nintendo, but I did have a PC when I was younger as well. Um, but any last words, guys, before we jump off? Is there any community members over on the Twitch, Paddy?
No, don't see anything now tonight. We're having a quiet night. We're probably a bit late tonight, but
Yeah,
sure.
we're a little
We
bit
were,
late.
we were.
We are a bit late. We're sorry. Well, next year
Shout
will be
out
better.
to so our last game of Pro Clubs was tonight. I probably should have mentioned what we're playing, but our last 2 games tonight of the season, the VPG season of Pro Clubs, those guys, like, we were committed the whole year long. We had a game Monday, Tuesday and Thursdays, and it is a big commitment for half the year. And shout out to all those guys. I met a lot of them through that team. I mean, we met a guy from Denmark, Sebastian. He played
Seb.
goalkeeper for us for the whole season long. Really, really awesome guy. Had so much fun with him. And you know, we met like I think John. I obviously knew you beforehand, but I met a lot of those guys through the virtual pro team, and I'm sure you have too. So, like, honestly,
But
shout out to those guys.
Y'all pretty much met me through the FIFA 19 pro leagues. John
Wow.
Lilio. That's pretty much how that's pretty much how I got talking to you. Like,
Well,
We
there
knew
you
of it,
go.
John. We knew you, John. Don't be worried about
Yeah,
that.
I was like, I know you years. It was the same as like I met John before at a gaming convention, and he walked in. No, never met you at all.
no.
This is the first time we ever
meeting
met. But again, that's something that gaming is so magical that you feel like you know people. It's not just a case like writing a letter and you feel like you know them. It's you feel like you really know people that you game with through and through. I think that's always a special thing for me anyway.
Yeah.
So guys, if you want to have any last words, and we can get out here.
Since it's our last probably show for a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
just like to say thank everybody. I think like to thank Ronan for presenting all year. Jack, who's not here with us anymore, unfortunately, thanks for being on the show all year with us
Thanks,
as well.
Jack.
Pat,
Thanks,
John,
Jack.
yeah, anyone that's been a part of the community, it's great. It's growing every day. We have people giving things left, right, and centre now to each other, which is getting in the community spirit. Gerald, who's throwing things at everybody. Thank you very much for it. I just said next year is going to be bigger and better for Republic. I think we're going to try and be more on time. We're going to try and do more shows. We're going to try and expand our content more. We're going to have more content coming out on the websites. We're going to try our best. Like, we're doing this part-time. We're doing the best as we can, but we're going to try and do even better. And I think there's big things on the way for the whole community, for us as individuals. Just thanks. That's all I have to say. Happy Christmas and thank you.
You're all great lads. You're all a bunch of great group. Let me try that again. You're all a great group of lads and ladies, and this has been like I was only introduced to the Republic this year. I got to know everybody a lot more, and honestly, one of the greater experiences of my life. I like legitimately. I'm meeting everybody, getting to know people, getting to be in the community, and I hope to make some more content for you both here and on my own channel. And I'm hoping to also make 2020 a big year. But thanks everybody. It's been emotional. It's been real, and I love you all.
Legend,
And Merry
lads.
Christmas.
Very, very nice. I'm gonna just say pretty much the same thing. One thing I do want to say is I am going to be making a lot more content for the Republic going into the new year. I've a plan set ahead. Like I was pretty much, you know, making content for the Republic on a regular basis going back about 6 months ago, and I started kind of playing around with a couple of bits and pieces, just experimental stuff on my own with like Tarkov you know, clips and stuff like that. And I want to I'm happy enough with where that stuff is now, and I want to bring it over into the Republic. So there'll be more content from me, as well as obviously the podcast. I am going to put so much effort into the podcast next year, as Paddy and John are going to do too, and Pat and anyone else that feels like they want to jump in. We're going to be hosting a couple of auditions as well, audition shows that can give people a chance to come in, and you know, if you fit the bill, we'll bring you on. John, I think you mentioned it as well, that it's a great thing to have a community like this, because there is people out there that are isolated, and it's great to have some place to go that you're not going to be ridiculed, you're not going to be made fun of. You can have a conversation, you can share your opinion, and that's what the most special thing about the community is it doesn't matter whether you hate this game or you love this game. There seems to be that understanding.
It's someone to talk to.
Yeah, 90% of the time. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And even
Like,
when I was growing up, nobody was into gaming apart from my brother. Like, I remember being in primary school, and you'd go in mad to talk to someone about the game, and everyone would look at you like you were a weirdo. And now we have this community of 15,000 people plus, and we're all into the exact same thing. That's phenomenal. Like, Paddy, I want to thank you as well. You've really, really pushed, you know, me in the right direction, the community in the right direction. And you know, I've fought with you, I've made up, I've, you know, stood by you, and I can't wait to go into the new year alongside you. Yeah, glad of all the decisions that I made along the way, and to have us still here. I mean, we're 3 years. We're 3 years in a relationship now, are we?
That's it. Be bitten aside.
But like, but like cats and dogs. But no, honestly, it's been an amazing experience, and to have something like this to be proud of is just, it's class. And John, again, for meeting you, it's, you know, you're an absolute legend. I consider the two of yous and Pat and the guys to be some of the best friends I've ever met. So I do appreciate yous all, and the community. So without further ado, I want to get you guys for the last time of 2019 to tell the good folks where they can find you. Paddy Toner.
Just find me on the community, boys. I'm streaming on Twitch and Facebook. That's it, really.
Perfect.
Thanks very much, everyone.
And Mr. John Fogarty.
The good people can find me at 2O for Gaming. That's TOOOLD for Gaming on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, everything. I'm that name on pretty much everything I'm on.
You lucky dog.
I am the Alpha Fox on most things. Just type it in. You should be able to see the logo. Instagram, Twitter, which I'm starting to actually get a little bit back into, just because I can have a one-on-one conversation with John, because I need another social media platform to have a conversation with John. Facebook, get me on the community anytime you want. And I have been your host, Ronan Fox, from myself, Paddy Toner, and John Fogarty. I want to wish everyone on the community a very, very happy Christmas, and hopefully you have a great new year as well. We're out.
Ho, ho, ho.
Peace.